Hey, Rebel Bankers, I'm your host, Chris Noggle, and welcome back to the Real Estate Money School. I'm excited to have my friend, Stephen Nagy, and also my co-director, whatever you want to call him, for Money School and all the stuff we do. So we're not going to get into titles today. We're going to get into value for you. We're going to talk about you. We're going to talk about your money, and we're going to talk about how you can change your financial future with some very simple changes. How simple? Sometimes just change one thing. So Stephen, welcome to the Real Estate Money School.
Hey, thanks, Chris. How's it going?
Going good, man. Going good. I'm excited for today, man. We got some really good stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is this event is probably the favorite one that we do by far. So I'm super pumped to talk about it. And, we've done a few this year already and kind of have worked out some of the little kinks and fine-tuned a couple things and made a couple tweaks. And this next one, I'm pumped for it. I mean, we have some oh my gosh, some powerful speakers coming, and the topics couldn't be more relevant for the times we're in right now. I'm just super pumped.
Well, that's some of the things I really want to cover on today's podcast episode. I definitely want to talk about the Money School Essentials 3-day event, which is coming up. When is the dates for the next one?
So this one coming up is going to be January 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th.
Perfect. So right now it's December 8th. We're right before Christmas in this crazy year that they call the 2020. It can be called many things: the pandemic, the epidemic, the mess. It is a mess, but we're going into a new year, and that new year comes with New Year's resolutions. And one of them, really, for all of you, should absolutely be learning how money really works, or like I always say, the truth about money and what the wealthy do with money. So I want to dive right in. So at this 3-day event, we've done these a couple times, but the last one we did, we really nailed it. We really knocked it. We got the secret sauce, if you will. The speakers that we had and the speakers that are going to be happening in this January one, these are people that you would pay a lot of money to ever get their knowledge and get their information. And they're going to be right there on this 3-day event. So who are some of the people? What is this 3-day event, and what are people going to learn? Let's dive into this thing.
Yeah. I mean, and just to kind of introduce myself, since I haven't been on your podcast, those of you that have followed some of our different, live trainings that we do, and some of the preview presentations and the Ask Me Anythings, and a lot of that on the Facebook group. Some of you might have seen me before, but those of you that just listen to the podcast, my name's Stephen Nagy. I'm down in South Florida. I've been a real estate investor for 14 years now. Prior to that, I was a personal financial advisor before I went to work for myself and got into the investment world. And from there, I've launched different businesses, different companies. And but my focus has always been really what the foundation of Money School is, or one of the 3 pillars, which we'll talk about today, but which is real estate. So, and kind of turning that into the whole money side and everything that we do with Money School. So, I met Chris a few years ago and was blown away about everything that he was doing, even at that time. And just to see where it is now, Chris, is just unbelievable to think back then. But it's, I loved what you were doing, and we decided to, I decided to join you and join your vision for bringing, financial and money education to the masses and to people that had never learned about it before. And, it was one of the best decisions I made in business, in my opinion, because I've absolutely loved it, even this year with all the hecticness. And, we started out this year doing live events. We were actually hopping in airplanes. We were going to different parts in the country, in the United States. We were holding live events. We were bringing people in. We were educating them in person. And then it all cut off with when this country shut down in mid-March. And so we came home and said, well, what do we do now? And, launched Money School, MSTV, Money School TV, and started launching these virtual programs, and really started getting deep in the marketing with Money Multiplier and Infinite Banking, everything that we're going to talk about. So, we like Chris said, we've been fine tuning it, and I think we've got it pretty perfected. This January one's gonna be really powerful. So, that's real quick my story, and kind of a little bit about how we've gotten to where we are right now. So, yeah, I mean, this workshop, this 3-day virtual event that we have coming, we'll talk down through the speakers. But before we go there, Chris, if it's all right for you, I just wanted to kind of lay out, what is the foundation of Money School, and why do we do these 3-day classes? Is that all right if we kind of start there?
Yeah, I think that's a great starting place. And, just to segue on what you were mentioning, I'll never forget, we're sitting at that nice hotel there in LA. We had just gotten done with an event. You were working, running another seminar company, doing events for them. And we were kind of there because we were both at that same event. And the discussion started right there at the bar, watching, I think it was a football or a baseball game. And that's where it all began. And sometimes that's just how things happen. We came up with the idea, we joined forces, and it is pretty impressive to see what has happened over this last year, the year of 2020, and what we've been able to build. And I think you're dead on right. Like if that last 3-day essentials event we did is any representation of what this January one's going to be, this is literally going to change some lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have, so many testimonials. I've talked to so many of the students, after this last one we did that just are so impressed, and, it's really changed their lives. And, you're going to hear this a lot from us moving forward, but if you can change one thing, it's going to change everything for you. So, what's that focus, that one thing you can make a change, and that one thing you can do a little bit differently. And we'll get into that here today too, because that's so important. But, when, like you said, you've been out there and you've been on speaking on stages now for a few years. You were a high-level financial advisor for many years, and turned that and decided to get into the real estate investing world, and, flipped 260 houses and got your show on HGTV. And you've done some really incredible, amazing things where it's doing the bus tours, and, and then you got out and you started speaking on stages and sharing your messaging. And, when you start getting into that world of speaking on stages in front of hundreds, and some of these stages, thousands of people, you start meeting some other very powerful speakers and some other very successful business owners, CEOs, and leaders. And, when you start meeting them, you start, having these conversations, whether it's at a bar, whether it's at an event or wherever, you start realizing you have a lot in common. And these are those relationships you start to build. And that's so important in business in general. And, so those relationships you've built, the relationships I've been able to build over the last 14 years, in the, education space and in the coaching and mentorship space, and kind of bringing that all together into Money School. I mean, it's just amazing. So we'll tell you some of those speakers we have coming up, and, coming up next week, those of you that are MSTV members, we have Mr. Greg Hurling joining us for the 2-hour group coaching call. I mean, where else can you get a multi-millionaire to spend 2 hours with you and just pour out the knowledge and answer all of your questions? I mean, so things like that, it's just incredible. So, when you look at all these different fields and all these different, powerful people that we now have connections, and you now are getting access to yourselves, they come from a lot of different areas. There's real estate investors. There's people that own companies that structure, corporations. We have people that, just wholesale, that flip land, that specialize in private lending and getting you money for every single deal. So we have all these different people that kind of come together. So, one of the challenges for Chris and I, putting this virtual 3-day, workshop, Money School workshop together is, what is our focus? So we can make you realize what is that one change. So what we did is we went out there and we put together what we consider the 3 pillars of education. And these 3 pillars are the foundation that we believe every single one of you needs to understand. So then you can then start implementing and changing you and your family's lives forever moving forward. So Chris, with that said, you just want me to jump into the 3 pillars so we can kind of hit that real quick? And then...
Yeah. And I'll never forget the time when you came up with the 3 pillars. They were just the foundation of what everybody really needs from their financial standpoint, their family standpoint, and their legacy, and yeah, let's just dive right into it. I think it's utterly and probably one of the most important things this 3-day will teach people. But back to just real quick, the people that we are surrounded with now. And, I look back to times where things were a little harder in my life, where, I was right outside of bankruptcy, and there's just so many things that were happening. And just meeting those few people changed my life. And, when I think about opening this stuff up to, this 3-day event, and opening all of our network, my mentors, all the people that I've paid tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to over the last 6 years, I think about like the value to that. And really, you can't put a dollar value. If you met one person in your life and that one person opened the door that changed your entire financial life, like what is the dollars that you would pay for that? I mean, Greg Hurling is that guy for me. He's that guy, but he's not the only one. There's a bunch of other ones that have helped pave that way. And if I had a place where I could be exposed to those people, ask direct questions to them, have them really take an interest in what I was trying to do, I mean, what would I pay? Well, I can tell you, I paid $30,000, and then with one group up to $80,000 over the course of all of it. That's what I spent. And people have access to these unbelievable mentors, these coaches, these just rock stars for practically, I don't even know what percentage. I mean, that's not even an eighth, but we'll get into that. So yeah, sorry, I'm rambling. Let's dive into the 3 pillars. I get so excited about the network because really that's a huge piece of this.
Well, what's really cool about you too, Chris, is you share. right? I mean, I know a lot of successful people that have mentors, but they keep them hidden. They keep them behind the scenes. They want to be known as, hey, everything I'm telling you comes from me. I don't have any help, and I don't know why they don't promote more, but you actually bring your mentors on and share them with the MSTV, the Money School member community. And I mean, that's just unbelievable in my opinion. So, no, you're
it just feels right. It's just, if you have something and you know about something, you have to share it with the world. I mean, like if I knew the one thing that cured cancer, I'd share it. I'd give it away for free. Cause like, that's just what you should do. But you're right. Other people would say, no, I got to keep this. This is my golden nugget that I'm going to be the person to bring it. And you have to go through me. But that's just not the way I do things.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, with that being said, the 3 pillars of education, this is what Money School is all about. So, the first pillar is going to be real estate. Okay. And I'll explain why. And keep in mind, I would say when it comes to our students and our members, I would say less than 50, probably like 20, 30% maybe only are actively in real estate investing, meaning they're actively wholesaling or they're actively flipping or they're actively owning, rental properties themselves and managing them either themselves or with property management companies, but they own them, right? And I would say 70, 80% of our students, however, are in real estate, but not the way that you would think about it. Does that make sense? And so what do I mean about that? And why should you understand real estate, even if you never want to own a rental property or you never want to flip a house? Why do you still need to understand real estate? And why is it at the first pillar of education and the first thing when it comes to the foundation of Money School? And the reason is because real estate has created more millionaires and billionaires than any other industry, business venture, opportunity, anything out there in the world combined. Real estate's created more millionaires and billionaires than anything else combined. All right. So that's number one. There's a lot of opportunity there. Number two, talk to any successful millionaire, billionaire, anybody successful, and they own a lot of real estate in their portfolios, period. I don't think I've ever met one that doesn't. All right. It's some way in their portfolio, they own a lot of real estate. So that's number two. Always do what the successful people do. Learn what the financially, wealthy are doing and do the same thing. Why not, right? And especially when we can teach you how to do it, even if you don't have any of your own money starting out, even if you're not in a position where you can spend millions of dollars to go out there and buy these big multifamily projects, we're going to teach you how to get involved with it. Even if you're starting right now, at ground floor with zero. All right. So that doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. That's going to be second pillar, which is money. But, so real estate, there's just so many reasons. And, we get into things like private lending. We get into things like private funds that contain real estate. We get in and we show you ways to control real estate without ever owning it or being involved with it. But it's just so important to have that involved in there. And let me ask you this, right now in the world that we live in, what's going on with the stock market, for instance?
It's at an all-time high.
Literally, it was at, it just hit 30,000. I don't know if it bounced back down right now.
And I'm laughing about that. And a lot of people are like, yeah, it's so high. I guess I got to invest in it. I'm laughing at it for the exact opposite reason. I'm looking at the stock market saying, you know what? Warren Buffett, one of the most well-known guys in the history of the stock market, says, when others are greedy, be fearful. And when others are fearful, be greedy. So I am incredibly fearful right now. And I'm incredibly fearful for what I see coming. And the warning bells are going off everywhere. That sign by Tesla, sign everywhere. There's a sign. There's signs everywhere right now. So I was laughing when I said the market's at an all-time high, not because I'm excited about it, because I know what's next.
Signs everywhere. All right,
love it. Yes, it's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, maybe that's a reason to look at diversifying some of your funds out of the stock market, So just as an example, let's say you have a bunch of money in an IRA and, it's with Fidelity. So they offer you Fidelity funds or indexes or, whatever you're able to purchase through there. Well, how do you go out there and you buy rentals, or how do you go out there and buy into a private fund? Well, that's where we're going to teach you about what are called self-directed IRAs. Okay. So one reason for self-directed IRAs for you personally to use for your retirement, for your future. All right. And we'll show you another way to use self-directed IRAs to get all the money you'll ever need for every deal you'll ever flip or buy in your life. But that's a whole nother one, right? So for this purpose, though, we teach you these strategies. So how do you get out of the stock market and diversify? And then also, let's say that we do see a correction. Real estate's also at an all-time high right now, right? Where I live in South Florida, the market if you look at the stats from last year to this year, it's unbelievable. I mean, we're up like 60, 80% in places. So
is it really that high?
It's crazy what's happening right now in South Florida. We have less than 2 months of inventory on the MLS right now, which is insane. So it's just what's going on here is, it's happening a lot of the places around the country because I speak with our students all over the country. So I know it's happening everywhere. So
even here in rinky-dink little Buffalo, New York, you can't get a house without, I just talked to an investor and he's doing a flip. And I said, direct message, I said, how'd you get that deal? He said, MLS. I said, oh, wow. Did you get a lead on it? He says, no, 22 cash offers. I was the highest bidder. And I'm thinking, ooh, that might not be a good thing. But 22 cash offers on an MLS property, like that's a problem, man. That's what they call a balloon or a bubble. That balloon is ready to pop, man. It's just ready.
No, absolutely. So, a big part of time we're going to spend during that 3 day is, okay, so what do you do to prepare? What do you do to plan and, hedge against what's going to happen? And then on top of that, when these corrections do occur, whether it's in stocks, whether it's in, how do you take advantage of it? So we teach you strategies in the stock market, how to ride that wave all the way down. We'll teach you in real estate exactly what to do right now to prepare for what's coming. Because one of the most valuable lessons I ever learned when I got and started investing and learned real estate, which was just prior to the crash of '08, was you can make money in any market. It can be an up market. It can be a down market. It can be a stagnant market. It doesn't matter. You just have to have the knowledge and education to know what to do in that position. And on top of that, especially with the stock market, when there is volatility, when we have these crazy ups, we have these crazy drops and downs, guess what? That's when you make the real money. Right.
Oh, absolutely.
So a lot of times in these stagnant markets, you're kind of moving along, you're chugging. But when these markets go crazy and up and down, that's where millionaires are made. And that's where you're really, really, really going to be able to set yourself up for the next decade of your life, because these things happen to, tend to happen in about, every decade or so. Right. And if you look back, it was '08. So we're up over, the historical where we should have some kind of correction. So it's coming. So what do you do to fix that? What do you do to get ready and prepare for that? So I can promise you, though, you take what we learn, what we teach you, and you learn it now, and you're prepared when this hits, whenever it hits, you will never, ever regret it. And you will set you and your family's lives up for the future, forever for the future. I mean, that's the bottom line. So, that's why I'm so big on real estate and everything that's involved with it. Whether you're active or you just want to be inactive, what we call a passive investor. Passive investing is sticking your money somewhere and just letting those checks roll in, whether it's, monthly interest come in and quarterly interest, whatever it is. And we're going to teach you all that during the 3 days too. So anything else to add on real estate?
I just think a lot of people, when they think about real estate, they're like, oh, I need a bunch of money to do it. Or, oh my God, I don't want to deal with tenants. I don't want to deal with, the call on Sunday of, or Easter Sunday for that matter, that the basement's flooded and there's brown things floating around. I don't want to deal with any of that. But people don't realize, number one, you can get into real estate with little to no money. You could basically learn from one of our mentors, Chris Rude, on how to actually get into real estate, how to make a ton of money by simply being the quarterback of the deals, literally being the person that finds the deals. And there's people making millions just doing that. And then the best part about that is they don't ever even own the property. They just make money finding the deals. So he teaches that. I think a lot of people don't even realize that's possible. And the other thing, a lot of people don't realize that they can take the money they have and they can directly invest into real estate and never, ever have to deal with the biggest problems of real estate, which is the real estate itself, the problems that come along with it, the tenants, the contractors. You can just be the bank. You could literally be the bank and have the real estate be the backing of that bank. So people don't realize these things are available because it's not the traditional things that we're taught about money. And that's hence what the 3 day really stands for. The 3 day essentials event is teaching you the secrets of the wealthy. What do the wealthy do with money that's different than what we're taught? And the answer is everything's different. So that's all I would add to real estate.
Right. And that rolls right into the second pillar, the second foundation, column, so to say, of money school, which is money. Like you said, whether you have money or whether you don't have money, this class is for you because it's going to teach you these strategies that you need to know. And, the best way to describe this is, something I learned from Chris. But if you look at a coin, you take like a quarter, right? So the quarter is going to have two sides. You have the heads and the tails, right? Well, what a lot of people don't realize is there's actually three sides. There's the outer rim, right? There's the edge of that coin. So on one side of the coin, we have, the heads. We have people that, maybe don't have the money but they are willing to go out there and hustle and do what they got to do and find these deals and put these deals together, and they're ready to profit. They just need that little bit of seed cap, that little bit of money to be able to put, basically fire into that deal like a water hose, put it all over it so that deal can explode, happen, and the profit can occur. So those people are willing to make it happen. They need, and then you have somebody else that has the money. Maybe they're busy with their job. Maybe they're a doctor, a lawyer, but they want to put their money to work, right? Because money sitting still is doing nothing for you. You always want that money working for you just as hard as you work to get that money. You always want that money moving, right? So maybe they want to get that money to work, but they don't have the time or the drive or desire maybe to go out there and actively do that part of it. So they're willing to give their money to somebody like this. This person needs that money. So that's where that magic happens. And that's that outer edge of that coin. That's the third side, is how do those people come together? So we start teaching you not only how to get the money and how to lend the money that way through things like the perfect loan proposal, but we also bring you together into this community. And this all starts at this Essentials event. And just to go on that for one more second, it is so very important to have your money working for you all the time. I mean, we teach you strategies, things like using the home that you're living in, putting the home you're living in to work, and using the equity in your home, putting that to work. I mean, it's amazing how many of our students and members that I talk to that have all this equity in their homes and they never realize that they can put that money to work. And we show them one difference. Let me ask this question. Let's use you listening. How many of you, if I showed you a way right now to use the equity in your home that you didn't even know existed, I taught you how to create an extra $1,000 a month coming in every single month by not doing anything different. How many of you would be excited about that? Exactly. Right. And that's what this is all about. And we're going to show you these. I mean, did you know you can take your 401k, right? Let's say you want to diversify the stock market. You don't want it to go down when things change right now. You can't take the money out though, because it's an active 401k. So you're kind of stuck with it sitting there. But what do? Well, we'll show you how to put that 401k to work, create an extra $1,000 a month coming in just by putting that thing to work. So we have all these different little strategies that they're not hard. They're not complicated. Anybody can do it. It doesn't even take a lot of time. It takes maybe a day or two to set it up and fill out a couple pieces of paperwork, and boom, you're off to the races. You have that money coming in every single month after month after month. I mean, so it's these little things that we're going to teach you during this 3-day essentials class that are so important and powerful.
Yeah, and it's funny. My mom, who knows nothing about money, nothing about finance, but many years ago, we basically taught my mom how to have her house, the house that I grew up in, the house that she's always lived in, how that house, that little ranch, will pay for her car payment. So for years and years and years, my mom's car payment has been paid for by her house. And she didn't do anything. She doesn't even really know all about it. She just knows that her house is paying for her car. So if you would like to learn that, this is what you're going to learn at the 3-day. And people, like, that's just a car, right? Like, what if your house could provide the extra income you need to do all the things you want to do in your life? These are the things that are absolutely possible. And then when we brought in the last speaker from Quantum last time, this is the first time, and we didn't know, how it was going to be received, but he came in and he showed people that don't qualify for a home equity line of credit, that went to the bank and can't get the equity out of their house because the bank said, no, I'm sorry, you don't fit in our little square box. He then showed them how to tap into private equity to basically get the equity out of their homes without any debts, without any monthly payments. In other words, so a lot of people are like, wait, what? You heard that right. He will show you how to take the equity out of your house, how to get access to the equity in your house without creating any debt, without ever having a monthly payment on that money that they just gave you. In other words, somebody will just give you the equity in your house today, and you don't have a monthly payment. You don't have to, take on a debt to do that. Like, most people don't even realize that's available, and that's been around for decades. But this is the stuff that nobody's teaching because nobody can make money on it. But that's what the 3-day brings, is the people that hold that golden key, that golden ticket, if you will, to show you this path to wealth, to a better financial life, and just a better financial future without changing anything in your life. With literally, not to pick on the gurus like the Dave Ramsey's. I love what Dave does, but Dave makes you change your life. He says, stop drinking Starbucks, start making coffee at home, start eating rice and beans. And when you're sick of rice and beans, go to beans and rice. How many of you want to change your life to just eat beans and rice and then flip it up and then, mix it up a different way? Not many of you. You still want your Starbucks and you still want the things that you do. So what if you could afford to have those things? And what if you didn't have to take on any more risk? What if you didn't have to give up control of your money? What if you didn't have to work any harder to have all that possible? Folks, if you think that sounds too good to be true, then this event is for you.
I mean, yes. And a big part of, what you're saying is control, right? Taking control of your money. And what, you have, just using the house again, just a simple heal, equity in your home. Right now, basically the bank has control of that, because if something happens, it all goes back to the bank, all the equity and everything. So you take control of that equity in your home and put that money to work, or do whatever you want with it, but do something, because money sitting still does nothing for you. It loses when you think, we talk, and before I get into the third pillar, we talk about, three reasons. So I'll just say this real fast, on the money subject. And this is from the Social Security Administration. Okay. The Social Security Administration came out with a study, and they said if you take 100 people, one person out of 100 is going to be wealthy in the United States at time of retirement. 4 are going to be financially secure. 5 are going to continue working. 36 are going to be dead because they, whether it was stress or whatever the case might be. And 54 are going to be dead broke, meaning they don't have anything to live on or live the retirement that they want to. So you're told to go out there, work your entire life, and in retirement, you'll be able to enjoy it. Well, guess what? That is not happening anymore. And that hasn't been happening for many, many, many years. So it's not taking back control. And what causes that? Why is basically 5 out of 100 people financially okay in retirement, instead of 95% being able to go out there and strive in the greatest country that's ever existed in the history of this world, the United States of America, right? Because and it's real boiled down to 3 main reasons. Number 1, inflation. Inflation, with the Fed and everything that's going on right now, with money being printed by the trillions, do you think that's going to affect the cost of goods in the future? Do you think that's going to affect what it costs to buy something moving forward? Absolutely. And that's what inflation is. If I can go out and buy a water bottle today for $1, in 10 years, that water bottle might cost me $1.10, $1.15. We can look at a million examples of this. What did something cost 20 years ago, 30 years ago compared to today? And it's just, that's basically the same dollars buying less and less and less and less. And it's caused by things like money printing and stuff that's happening right now. So, who knows where that's going to go, but be prepared, and don't make this a reason that you go we call this going broke slowly, right? Because inflation is a silent killer. And number 2 is volatility. So those ups and downs. And Chris gives a great example. Chris, maybe you can do this real quick. But if you think, if I'm making 10% a year and then all of a sudden I lose 10%, well, I can just make another 10% and get back right to where I was. It doesn't work that way.
Now, it's called the drawdown effect, and a lot of people don't realize that, but really, it's very easy to see. If you go back to March when the market plummeted, whatever your portfolio, your 401k, your stocks went down to, then all of a sudden the market came back right after the March fall, and it rallied, and now we're at record highs. But some of you probably are looking at your 401k, looking at your stocks, saying, it's funny because I'm still down from where I was before the March crash, but the market's higher than it was in March. Well, that's exactly what the drawdown effect is. And it's very simple to understand. When you lose 30% of your portfolio, your money has to work twice as hard in some cases to make that 30% back. And here's some numbers. If you lost 50% of your portfolio, you have to make 100% back just to get back the 50 you lost. If you lose 30, you have to get back 43% or something close to that. So that's the drawdown effect. Your money has to work twice as hard to get back the money that you lost because you have less working for you. People don't understand that. They just think, the market fell 30, the market made 30 back, I'm even. No, you're not. You're still upside down. And this isn't talked about. Wall Street doesn't talk about this. Oh, God forbid that.
Right, exactly. And how would you like to learn how to understand markets, look at patterns, understand when it's time to move from one sector to another, when it's time to move out completely and prepare for what's coming? How would you like to know how to hedge against this stuff? So when it does occur unexpected, you're protected and you're not taking a 30% loss. Maybe you're taking a 3 or 5% instead. How would you like to be prepared so when these drops do occur, you're ready to buy, like Warren Buffett says, buy low, sell high, never to buy low and ride that wave back up? How would you like to be prepared and ready for all this stuff? And that's what 3-Day Essentials course is going to teach you those entire 3 days. That's what the entire thing is based on, right?
You know, I think the last 3-day, one of the most unbelievable things that we had there was the final day. We had a guest, we had a bonus round, and we brought in Sodi, who runs the 10/10 trading systems and the mentorship for that. And what he showed people is a way to trade the stock market, whether the market's going up, down, or sideways, and you can make money any of those 3 directions. But he showed you how to do that literally with 10 minutes of your time every 90 days. And he showed how you can make silly returns. His example, I looked at it again today, was literally over 100% on a very small trade. A lot of people think, oh yeah, well, you got to have a lot of money to do that. No, this trade was $122. And that trade returned over $3,000. And all he did is he showed step by step how to do this. And then he also went in and said, okay, well, for those of you that already have a stock portfolio and maybe you're attached to your stock, maybe you got Apple and you love Apple, maybe you got Tesla and you love Tesla. Well, a lot of times any, stock course or anyone would say, well, if you don't want the risk, sell Tesla and sell Apple. He says, no, hold your positions. Let me show you how to hedge against potential losses. So when the market goes down and your Apple or your Tesla goes down, we'll show you how to make money on a different trade that keeps pace with the amount you're losing. Do you know how to do this, folks? Because this is what he teaches and what he taught, and it blew people's minds. It was the most probably well-received section of the 3-day, and it's all good. It's just money is such a mysterious thing to people. We're all taught how money works our entire lives, and what we're taught is a lie. What we're taught is how to give up control of our money, how to put money in other people's pockets, and how to lose all of that money because we're giving it away and we don't even know it. This 3-day changes that because it gives you very simple, easy, and not in very low risk ways to position your money to basically get ahead of that and to control that money. I was going to go a whole different topic, but that section alone is worth this 3-day.
No, absolutely. And right into the enemy number 3. So you have number 1 is inflation, number 2, volatility, number 3, taxes. We'll see, but we have a lot of proposals. We're printing a lot of money right now. We're giving a lot of money out and stimulus and bailouts and things like that. Well, guess what? It's got to be paid for somehow. And guess who pays for it? We do, through taxes. So taxes are probably going to increase at some point, whether we like it or not. It's inevitable. And, taxes have been killing people for years and years and years. And so we're going to, one person we're bringing on that's, part of what they're going to be talking about is, saving you money on taxes. And you do that by owning a company, owning either an LLC or a corporation. And what are the pros and cons of those? And, what can you write off and what can you be running through your businesses right now? Even if you're brand new, you don't know anything about this stuff. How can you set up an LLC and start taking advantage of everything that all of us take advantage of and have been for years? So we are bringing in actually probably one of the most powerful companies I've known of yet. The company's, can I tell them, Chris, who's we're bringing on?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's a company named NCH, which is Nevada corporate headquarters. And, I've been to their offices. They're based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, out there. And, I've been to their offices many, many times. They did all the structuring for Monster energy drinks. So you walk in and they got those, they got the Monster drinks all over and they're trying to give them to you. They're on the coolers and everything, but just a really cool company, really great operation, great people out there. So really excited to have one of their people on talking about, asset protection, talking about trust, talking about saving on taxes, how to structure this stuff. And they're going to get real deep into this during this 3-day course. So it's gonna be great to have them on.
And every 3-day we do, it's kind of funny. It seems like, oh yeah, that's boring stuff. But for some reason, out of all the speakers we have and all the mentors we bring on to this 3-day training, this section, the asset protection part gets the most amount of questions. I'm always blown away. And I even did a contest. I'm like, there's no way you're going to beat Matthew from Quantum's questions because he had a lot. And then all of a sudden on the protection side, absolutely the most amount of questions. So it's obviously a hot topic for people. And, we missed one that I want to make sure we bring out because this is a new one. First time we're ever doing it here in January is we're bringing someone who's literally like known throughout the entire country. And actually he's he does it in every country, but the land guy, we got the land guy. We've missed that in real estate, but we're talking about flipping and, and wholesaling and burrs and rentals and all that. But what about land? What if you knew how to, from right in your seat with your computer, how to make a ton of money flipping land? It's the most fascinating thing I've heard about in a very long period of time. I had him on this podcast and it just blew my mind what he does and how he does it, the efficiencies and the amount of money you can make doing this, flipping land from your computer without ever going and seeing the property, without really having a whole lot of additional knowledge outside of what he teaches. And he's going to join us and he's going to spend an hour with the people, with everybody on the 3-day teaching them how to flip land. It's incredible.
Yeah. No, that's going to be awesome. I'm glad you brought him up, and I'm excited for that. We actually just bought a piece of land ourselves on the water down here, and a little part in the middle of the state where all the big boats go when they're crossing from the east to the west coast. So we're in the process. So I'm looking forward to seeing strategies that he teaches, and how we can maybe take more advantage, because that's something I'll admit I'm not too educated in myself. It's
fascinating. And I learned on this 3-day, it'd be one thing if it was just me and you teaching it, but it's not. It's all of our mentors, all the people we learn from. So every time I learn stuff and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. I need to do that. So this is something, if we're still learning, folks, you all will learn more than I can even begin to tell you. So I didn't want to go back, but we missed that in the real estate. So we got we got the real estate, we got money. It's just incredible.
Yeah. So that rolls us right in. And just to go back to the taxes part, and the corporation setups and all that. And that rolls right into what the third pillar of education, the foundation for money school, the third pillar is, which is legacy, which is creating, something for your future and for your family. It's just, you see too many people that leave debts and liabilities, and it's time to start figuring out a plan to leave assets and leave something, whether it's for your family, for people close to you, for charity, whatever the case is, but, make your mark in the world and create something. So even when you're gone, you live on. And that's what a lot of this is about. So, we're going to do the legacy, that's a big part when it comes to money school. It's not just making money now. It's not just doing well for yourself, but it's creating something for the future. And, that's one thing that I just want to freeze real fast. And, I've done business with a lot of people now over the years, and I've met a lot of people, and there's people that come to us. And sometimes, I want to get into, talking about like the real estate market when things come down. I just want to make it very clear that we don't want to work with people that want to get in and take advantage or hurt other people or do things, kind of just to make a quick buck and get out. We want to work with people that want to be in this for the long haul. There's only one way you can be in this business for the long term. That's to do things right and do it right every single time. So, if that sounds good for you, those are the kind of students we want to work with, the kind of members we want in our community. So just please keep that in mind. We're going to teach them to do things right, do it right, the right way, and how to build to make this a long-term thing for you and your family. So, not only is that important when it comes to asset protection, because, we live in a sue happy society. So bringing in somebody to show you how to structure your money and structure your finances to protect it from stuff like that, from lawsuits and these shady characters out there. So that's very important. But, one step further, we're going to teach you a strategy that I just recently learned about last year that I'm now implementing myself. That's probably one of the most powerful financial tools and vehicles I've ever been introduced to. And that's saying a lot, because I've worked with, I've worked hand in hand with Robert Kiyosaki. I've worked hand in hand with some of these, big, gurus out there, but, that have been doing this for a long time. And this is seriously one of the most powerful things. So we have coming on to the Essentials training, the CEO and founder of the Money Multiplier. So the Money Multiplier is a company that teaches basically how to use specially designed whole life policies, something called infinite banking. And the way we teach it it's like nothing I've ever seen before. And, Chris wrote a book with Brent Kessler called Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. And, the godfather, so to say, of infinite banking was a guy by the name of R. Nelson Nash. And this book that Chris and Brent wrote is just unbelievable because it basically they basically wrote a book that takes what R. Nelson Nash wrote 20, 30 years ago and brought it into the 21st century and the 2020, the times that we live in now. So we are bringing the founder and CEO of Money Multiplier on to teach you directly and answer all of your questions directly. And if you've never seen this concept before, it's so powerful. And if you've heard it before in the past and you haven't taken action, I mean, I guarantee you this is going to blow you away. I hear it all the time from people.
It is. And every time we do it, it's absolutely the number one thing that people remember and resonate with, because obviously Brent teaches them how to get all the money back for every single car they're ever going to buy, drive, and own. And we're all buying cars. There's very few people in the United States population that's not driving or at least buying or leasing their cars. But imagine if you had a method that didn't involve you working any harder, any longer, without you losing control of your money and without you taking on any risk. And that method allowed you to get every single dollar back for all the cars you will ever buy, drive, and own. Wouldn't you want to know that? And all you have to do is change one thing in your life. Just one step has to be added. That's it. And that's what Brent teaches. And debt, that's another problem, right? We didn't really hit that on the head because a lot of people are buried in debt. They wake up every single day and go through every single month saying, wow, there's just not enough money left after I give it all away to these debts. Well, he shows you a method to get rid of that debt without all those things. And he shows you how to do it in a way you've never seen done, using principles that have been around for hundreds of years, that have been used by the wealthiest individuals and families in the world, people like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Ray Kroc, right, from McDonald's used this. Walt Disney used this to start Walt Disney World. And then you come to modern time, McCain, before he passed, used this. I mean, in the politics, you got the president-elect Biden openly said he uses this, and I could go on and on. Warren Buffett uses this. I mean, if all these people are using it, why doesn't everybody know about it? You talk about Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about it in his book. He talks about it in Second Chance, and so does Tony Robbins. But yet nobody seems to know about this. It is literally one of the biggest secrets of the wealthy, hands down.
And it's for everybody. I do policies for 3-year-olds, for parents that want to do it on their 3-year-olds so their money will compound. Because what this does is it takes advantage of, and we won't get too deep into this, but it gets into compounding interest, which is, one of the 8th wonders of the world, as people have said. So
Albert Einstein said, not right. Just people. Albert Einstein said that one.
so the longer it compounds, the better. But we've done it with 3-year-olds. I've done it for 20-year-olds. I put in a couple $100 a month just to get something started for themselves. One change, it changes everything. We do it for people like myself and Chris, that are putting in couple hundred grand a month so they can fund all of their real estate projects. Mm-hmm. We do it with 70-year-olds that are just looking to create a legacy for their family that they can pass on to. So it literally works for everybody too, which is just even that much better.
It is. And this is just, we're literally just scratching the surface in the time we have here on the Real Estate Money School of what people are going to get, but it's just so much. So it doesn't matter where you're at financially. It doesn't matter what you're doing, what your goals are. There's going to be something that's going to be life-changing in this 3 days. So you guys need to really take advantage of this. And I wish we had more time to dive into the bank of C&M Jones and all those things. How much time do we have? We got probably another 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, I need like an hour. I'm used to listening to like Joe Rogan podcasts. They're like 3.5 hours long. Let's roll, baby. I know. I know. All right. But you and I could talk for days and days. Well, that's why we got the 3-day essentials, I guess.
We could. And it's funny. I've been talking to a lot of people about this one thing. And, there's so much information out there that's free. This podcast is free. The wealth webinars that we do are free. There's so much stuff out there that is free in today's world. But the biggest problem is, and I get this all the time. People are sending me messages, texting me, hitting me up on Facebook and Instagram saying, help me, train me, coach me. I want to work with you. And then I'm like, great. I'd love to help you. I'd love to help solve your money problem. Join us at this 3-day. Okay. Take part in our community called Money School TV. And I give them the opportunity to work directly with me, directly with Steven, directly with all these people we're talking about. And they say, well, I don't really want to pay. People don't value things when they don't. pay. When there's not an exchange of money, because that's all money is a means of exchange. When there's no exchange, there's no value. And that's a strange thing. I never thought of this, but I've seen it firsthand over and over again. So if you give people something for free, they don't value it as much as something they pay for. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Like this 3-day event, like, can you tell because I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, all this stuff, we know it's January 22nd to the 23rd, but what is the cost?
Yeah. I mean, we were doing it for $2,000, retail, over the computer. And then at our live events, we were doing it for $997, a discount of $997 when you took action at the event. But you guys are getting something special because we're still wrapping out 2020 here, and we're trying to help as many people as we can in 2020 before we kind of hike some of the different investments and things for stuff we're doing in 2021. But right now, you guys are still getting in to this 3-day virtual essentials course for $197. So it's kind of silly with everything that you receive as well, because it's not only the 3-day education, but it's access to all of these partners of ours that we have and mentors of ours that we have, and it's getting a membership into Money School TV, MSTV, where we do our group trainings. And I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but those of you that enroll for this 3-day essentials, you'll get access to MSTV. And if you do so before December 17th, that's the 2-hour group coaching call we're having with Greg Hurling, who you aren't going to want to miss that. So if you're listening to this before December 17th, go enroll right now and make sure you register for the 2-hour group coaching call. And that's kind of like a bonus that you're receiving for doing this. And I guess if this training is January 22nd, I'll have to look at the dates, but if there's another third Thursday in there, you'll those of you listening after December 17th, get on that group training before the 3-day. And I don't know who we have for January yet, but it'll be, we had Greg Reed last week. We had Steve Sims. You can look these people up. They're all billionaires. We had, and I could run down through the list of people that we had, but it's so powerful. So make sure you hop on there. And, that's included a 30-day membership in MSTV with this. You get access to the file vault, which are all the tools that we use in our real estate investment businesses for analyzing properties, for deciding if it's a good deal, for borrowing money, for going out there and getting money. So you don't just look like some amateur, you look like a professional with the credibility builder. And there's several other tools that you receive through the file vault. So just everything that you get along with this essentials, we really want to set it up where you're able to take this 3-day course, do a review call with me where we set up your action plan and we set your goals for you, and you go out there and you're hammering it starting on that Monday. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that Monday, this is set up where you're out there and you're putting things to work. You're making things happen. You're putting your money to work immediately, because every day you wait putting your money to work is a day you're missing out on compounding interest. And we can't have that happen. So we set this up to get you to go out there and make it happen. So $197 for all of that right now. Get it while you can, because these investment prices are definitely going up next year.
Yeah, for sure. And, the other thing too, that I always tell my crew here, my rebel bankers is, it's not the knowledge that's important. The person that said knowledge is power, I think is full of crap, because knowledge isn't power. It's the application of knowledge that's power. Just like all of you watching on your journey to becoming a rebel banker, think about that. You have to take action. If you just sit on the couch and you just keep gobbling up all this free knowledge and you just keep doing that, but you take no action on it, what did you actually change in your life? The answer is nothing. You have to take action. So right now, take action on this 3-day sign up, because I'll tell you something, that group coaching component he was just talking about with these unbelievable rock stars that we have on there that you have direct access to, that's going away. So if you sign up for the 3-day, you are grandfathered because you get to be part of MSTV. But after that 2-hour group coaching is literally going to cost $1,000. No two ways about it, because people don't take value in it. And we've seen this. So we're going to start charging what it's worth. It's not even what it's worth more, but we're going to start charging. But all of you have the opportunity right now to take action and actually apply this and really get a lot of it. And I'm going to sweeten the pot. I love giving things away. So any of you that sign up from my podcast, from the Real Estate Money School, we're going to give you a shirt. So I don't know, can you see that? It says, we got a whole series of new shirts that we just did. This one says, money is my permission slip. And we've got a bunch of shirts. Any of you that sign up for the 3-day event, we will send you one shirt whatever one you pick. You can go on the website and pick which one of these shirts. Money is my permission slip, the eighth wonder of the world, BYOB, meaning be your own banker, or you can even pick the other one. What's the one? It says, I've never met a dollar I didn't like. How true is that? Yeah. So you can pick whatever shirt you want, but if you sign up by clicking the link up and we'll put it in the description, then we're going to send you a shirt. I mean, like, how much more stuff do we have to give you to get you to take action? That's it, folks. Like, Steven's laid it out. Like, this is a life-changing event. This might be one of the most powerful 3-day events. And until we can get back on the road and start doing these things live, it's only $197. Mm-hmm. Like, you spend more than that on Starbucks in most cases.
Yeah, and we barely did scratch the surface, today, right now with this. I'm just looking at, we have a couple other speakers we didn't even mention. So you're going to receive some additional bonuses that we didn't even talk about today. The time of the class is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time, all 3 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I'll just give you a warning, plan on spending
over.
Eastern. I mean, this last one, I think we went to like 3 or 4 o'clock on a couple of the days. So I know we're going to try and keep on schedule, but I'm just going to warn you. I know how Chris is. I know myself is, and I know how all of our expert speakers are. And sometimes when you get on a roll and we have a lot of, and I didn't even mention, this isn't just us talking to you. This is interactive. Those of you on the live Zoom, you are going to be writing your questions in the entire time. So whether that's questions for Chris and I, whether that's questions for the speakers that we have on that are training you, you're going to be interacting with them the entire time during those 3 days. So we're doing chat with you. We're doing questions with you. I'm texting with people on the phone and answering questions. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And the best part is, and I don't know anybody else that does this in this entire industry, we give you the recordings. So the same day. So, if let's say you have to work Friday, you can't make it to the live one. Well, when you get home Friday, in your inbox, you're going to have the recording for that thing accessible where you can click on it and watch it Friday night. So you can hop on Saturday morning and you're caught up. You're ready to go and get on a few minutes early. We'll answer your questions from Friday. So we give you those recordings. You have access to those basically for as long as we'll be around, so it's basically life. You'll have access to those recordings. So that'll be all within your little membership area within Money School. So, very powerful there.
It's just so much stuff that they get for it. And it's just an unbelievable 3 days. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the recordings, because a lot of people come up with excuses. Oh, I got to work. Oh, I got a wedding to go to. No, you don't. Maybe you do, but not a good time to be going to weddings. But, all this is recorded. You get it all. You can absorb it at your own time. Plus you get all the tools, the free shirt, and 3 days of awesomeness. So folks, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, get on your journey to becoming a rebel banker by taking action right now, by clicking the link, because time is now. That's the only time you have, is right now. So make some decisions to change your financial future. Let's make 2021 the best financial year in your life. And you can do it right here. So Stephen, thanks for joining me on this episode of the Real Estate Money Schools. It was an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to talking to every single one of you all on January 22nd, if not before. We'll see you guys hopefully on this next group training as well. Awesome.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Money School. We'll see you at the 3-day. And don't forget, pick your shirt. I suggest money is your permission slip to freedom. But what is money your permission slip for? That's for you to decide. We're just going to help you get there. So we'll see you on the next episode. Have a good day.